Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about homeschooling in the state of North Dakota. And we're going to begin with the HSLDA website. And if you have any legal concerns or legal questions, you can join the HSLDA group and they will help you with things like that. I am not an attorney and I can't help you with that, but I can read what it says and tell you a lot of other things maybe about homeschool that might help you. It says that their option 1, the homeschool under the home education law. It says you must be a parent of the child you're homeschooling and you must have a high school diploma or a GED to supervise the child's home education unless you are monitored by a North Dakota certified teacher as described below. And then it goes on to describe that. It says you have to file a yearly statement of intent at least 14 days before you start homeschooling or within 14 days of moving into a North Dakota school district, and once a year every year after that. You must file a statement of intent to homeschool. It says you have to file it with the superintendent of the public school district where your child lives. If there is no district superintendent, you must file it with the county one. It says your statement must include the name and address of the child's birth date, your child's grade level, name and address of the parent who's going to supervise the home education, the qualifications of the parent who will supervise the home education, any public school courses in which your child intends to participate, any extracurricular activities in which your child intends to participate, and school district or approved non-public school offering the activities. A copy of your child's immunization records, and then offers you a form, proof of your child's identity, a certified copy of their birth certificate, and it gives you other examples you could use. And it says you have to teach them for a certain number of days. It says you have to teach them certain subjects, and it lists that, so you can read that if you like. It says you have to keep school records. So you might want to keep a portfolio or a binder to keep these records in, and we'll go over some of the things that you could put in that. It says that you need to have your student take a standardized achievement test if they're in certain grade levels, and it gives you more information on that and what to do with that and what happens if they score too low. But usually homeschool students, I believe, score higher for the most part than public school students. And it says if your child has a development disability, you have to follow certain requirements. And then it also tells you what to do if you're going to homeschool as a private school. And then you go to the North Dakota Department of Public Instruction, and there's the list of frequently asked questions. And if you're going to keep a binder or portfolio, one of the things you might want to print off and add is the legal requirements in the state and put the date on it and put it in there. And that way you can highlight it as you show that you're following that and put the proof in there as well. At the beginning of the year, you're probably going to want to give your children an assessment test to see where they're at. They may not be on the same level in math that they are in English. That way you can create a plan of what you're going to teach them for the year. Maybe you know what you taught them last year, but then at the beginning of the year they may need to review things. It helps to give them an assessment test to see what they absorbed and they learned. Never assume anything. And this is one of those that they have on that website. And you can save it to your computer as a PDF, and you can see the tests, and you can see if they might make simple mistakes here and there, and you can go over those with them. But if they really start getting stuck in areas, you can tell when it's a simple mistake, or if they just need to review something, or what level they're on usually. So that will help you to create your plan of what you're going to teach them for the year. And you can put that in your portfolio or your binder. This is another thing. And I'm going to use this website to show you an example. And you can see the headings where it says books, general homeschool supplies. So that way you have a list of what you're going to need for homeschooling them. And where it says social study materials, you can also put like social study, history, math, the subjects you plan on teaching. And you can put your favorite websites that you plan to use to teach them those subjects, or just brainstorming ideas of which ones you might use, and then you can highlight the ones you actually plan to use, or create a separate list for the ones you plan to use, and then you can look back on that list later if you decide you want to use something else halfway through the year or next year, so that you have those lists in your portfolio or your binder to help you. And this is a homeschool attendance record. It's on the North Carolina website, and you can print, I would print 2 of these out. One for the days you plan on having school and field trips and holidays, and another one for the days you actually end up having school, because even public school has things happen and has snow days and things like that. This is the IXL website, and if you're going to print out the curriculum that you're using and put it in your binder from the website, this one shows an excellent, it's all set up for that. It's really easy to do. And you might want to take the contents, if you're using a workbook, and copy those and put them in there as well. And some people might choose a website that's complete curriculum to use for like 3 hours a day, and then another hour a day have them working in a complete curriculum workbook, so that they have that. And then you can put samples of their work in the binder, and you can decide if you want to showcase their best work, if you want to show progressive work, or if you want to show a variety of skills. And you might want to have one binder and have your student do a separate binder. It's like a school project, so they can look back on the year and see the work they've done and take pride in that work. So that's just an idea. And this is easy peasy. It's all in OneHomeSchool.com, and it's free curriculum, and it's complete curriculum. It even has extras like Bible and stuff like that. And it goes through the day, and they click different links to do different subjects, to go to different sites. So it's fun because it uses a variety of sites, and it helps them to learn. This is khanacademy.org, and it says it's free for everyone, everywhere. And it goes from pre-K all the way to college classes. And it even has life skill subjects, so you can check that one out and see if you like it. This is not complete curriculum. This is just now adding into your curriculum. So this would be Schoolhouse Rock, and it's music videos, and it covers a lot of subjects. So you can see that. And you can find playlists for free on YouTube that you could use if you want to use those. And students love them. They sing along. They memorize the songs so that they know it well. And it teaches multiplication and math. There's the subjects of that. And this is Grammar Rock, and you can see what it teaches within Grammar Rock. And this is American Rock, and you can see all the different things that you learn in America Rock. And this is Science Rock, and you can see how it teaches you about electricity and the weather and gravity and solar system. And this is Money Rock, and what they learn in that. This is Earth Rock, and it teaches a variety of things. You can see recycling and rainforests and gardens and solar energy. So this is excellent information for your students to have. This is PBS Learning Media. So this is another resource that you might be interested in. And hopefully this helps you. And this is Project Gutenberg. So if you're looking for books to read online, this one has a lot of them, and it's so easy to use. You just click on the book title and click how you want to read it, and there it is. So it's pretty easy to use. It has a lot of books. And this one is International Children's Digital Library, and it has like 5,000 books. And if they came out with different editions of some of the books, it will have probably those as well. So if you see the book listed a few times, and you just click on it, it's so easy to use, and you can turn the page to the right or to the left in the upper right hand corner. And it has so many books. And if you're going to go to the library, you might want to create a list of skills, library skills that you want your students to have, and make a certificate of achievement for your students for achieving those skills. This is Mr. Nusbaum.com. You can see how it's spelled in the upper left-hand corner. And this has a variety of subjects, so if you need more to add to your curriculum, you can see it has so much. We're going to scroll down. So this is an excellent resource, especially if you're trying to study different things in social studies and history in the area that you live in. This has some great resources for that. And this one, I love this one because there are some complete workbooks you can find on this that you can download and print off. It really is a great resource. I was surprised. It's UK, but I love it because it has complete workbooks, and that might help you. And this is homeschool support groups. So if you've never homeschooled before, or you have questions that you need answers to, homeschool support groups, sometimes they've homeschooled for years, and sometimes they go on field trips together, or they might meet somewhere to have like a picnic and have homeschooled students hang out together and do things together. And they might, if you have materials you want to donate to other families, that would be the place to do that, would be the homeschool support groups. I would still take any legal questions. I would join the HSLDA for that. And I just want to mention, I don't know if I mentioned all of these, but if you're creating a portfolio or binder, if you give them an assessment test at the beginning of the year, you're going to want to print that out and put that in your binder. Your state homeschool laws, copies of forms that you filed with the school, a couple of calendars or attendance records, brainstorming your favorite resources, your actual list of resources you're going to use, your printed curriculum from online curriculum or workbook or both. Oh, list of any field trips you plan to take. You might want to put that in there with that list of brainstorming favorite resources. Sample student work. Proof of field trip taken, I mentioned that. Weekly schedule. A daily log of activities like day 1, the date, the time, the name of the subject, the name of the website or the book that they're doing that subject in, and the activity. Like when you saw the IXL website and it showed that list, those would be like individual activities that you would want to list on your daily log. So you want to list that with each subject every day. And at the last subject of the day, you want to put the start and the end time. So then you don't have to count how many days you homeschooled them because it's in your daily log. Because you've got day 1, the date, the time, the subject, the website or the name of the book, and the activity they did. So that's an excellent thing to have in your portfolio or binder. Any self-evaluations they do, if you do an assessment, you might want to write an assessment on them every now and then about how they're doing. And every 6 to 8 weeks, you might want to write an assessment on every subject. And at the end of the year, you might want to write an assessment of every subject. And make sure you put a positive spin on anything negative, like they're struggling in their reading, but they have a positive attitude. And at the end of the year, you could put they went up 5 reading levels, and we think it was because of their positive attitude and hard work. That way, when they look back on it, they can take pride in their work. Any standardized tests that they take every year, you want to put that in there. If they do volunteer work, you probably could create certificates or have somebody fill something out for you to put in that binder or portfolio, especially if they're going to college or joining the military. If they're taking outside classes like swimming, horseback riding, yoga, anything, art classes at a local museum, you want to have someone fill something out for that, maybe a certificate or anything, and put that in your binder as well. Any contacts you have with phone numbers, email addresses for the school and for support groups, you're going to want to put that in your binder. If they do career study field trips, you might want to have them create a list of questions to ask them about the kind of how much education they needed, what their daily tasks include, and the skills, leadership skills, organizing skills, meeting deadlines, presentations they might have to do with a computer. And that way they can ask them the questions and they can write it down. Maybe they can do an audio or video if they let them. And then write a paper on it, and you can put that in your portfolio or your binder, and that will help them know the kind of education they need if they're interested in the careers. Maybe even help them choose a career. It might help them just on interview skills or communication skills. So that's excellent to have in your portfolio, in your binder. And some people decide to grade their students. A lot of people don't unless they have an umbrella school or they have to do it for some reason. But then if you do, then you have to decide how are you going to grade them. And some people will use percentages and some people use points for different things like attendance, following directions, effort, being focused, preparation, participation, discussion, completing the work, if the work is clear, creative thinking and originality, written work, open book tests, extra credit work, correcting their mistakes, quizzes, tests, etc. So you can decide how you want to give them points. And some people just make a list and they check them off. Some people might grade them every paper, and some people will go through the whole week of assignments and look at them and decide on the grade that way with their checklist. So you have to decide, are you going to grade every paper assignment or are you grading by the week? So that's up to you, and if you even want to grade them at all. But you might need grades if they're going to college and you have to create paperwork for that. And then some people they need to create objectives, and they want to create objectives for their portfolio or their binder. And it's been suggested by different websites that you keep it vague so that you don't feel pressured by your words or use words that make you feel pressured into doing certain things. And it says use words like to review, to continue to introduce new skills or information, to continue to expose new information or various aspects, to continue to explore new terms, to continue to study concepts and topics within the subject, to continue to work in order to improve skills within that subject, to increase vocabulary and knowledge within the subject area, to continue to read books, like on literature, science, or history, and mention the courses that are to be taught, and make sure you mention every subject if you decide to do that. You know, English could consist of spelling, vocabulary, composition, reading, writing skills, and speech. And arithmetic could just be basic facts and math skills, or could include algebra depending on the age. And science, you could mention vocabulary and the aspects of science. Social studies, you could mention history, geography, the state they live in, the U.S., the world, civics, and current events. And PE could mention exercise, health, nutrition, fire safety, physiology, dangers of drug use, human growth, development, anatomy, the transmission of disease. And music could mention various types of music and musicians. And art could be to introduce types of art and artists, so that you could do that if you like. But a lot of people don't even do that. You know, you don't really have to. But just so that you have that information if you need it. And I hope that this helps somebody out there. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Have a great day. Bye-bye.